Hello and welcome everyone to this lesson, which is about some confusing words. And this time I've chosen some phrasal verbs for you. Let's have a look at what they are. We're going to look at the difference between hear of, hear about, and hear from, come up with, come down with, come up against, come across, and bump into, take on, and take up. So let's start with the verbs with hear. Hear of, the first one. To hear of is to know that someone or something exists. For example, have you heard of Lenny Henry? That means, do you know who Lenny Henry is? Or have you heard of Rubik's Cube? Do you know what it is? This verb is mainly used with present perfect and occasionally past perfect. For example, you can say, I hadn't heard of Lenny Henry until last week. Now, what are the common questions that happen about this verb? The first one is just using the verb know instead of hear of. So saying to someone like, do you know Lenny Henry? If you say that to someone, you're asking them if they know Lenny Henry personally, not whether they know he exists, but if they actually know him as a person. The other mistake is using the preposition about instead of. If you say, do you know about Lenny Henry? You're really asking the person if they know what's just happened to him. There's a story around him. Because hear about is to learn about an event or a situation. So, for example, you can say, have you heard about Lenny Henry's new TV series? Yeah, he's done something and you're asking if you've heard about his news, his latest news. Or have you heard about the demonstrations in Paris? So you hear about an event or a situation. And there's one third word, phrasal verb with hear, which is hear from. And to hear from is to receive news from. For example, have you heard from your dad recently? Means have you received any news from him? So really important not to mix these three up because you will give your listener a completely different idea of what you're asking or saying. Now, let's look at the verbs I mentioned earlier with come. The first one was come up with. Come up with is to find and suggest an idea, a plan, etc. Jenny has come up with a great idea. Now, come down with is not the opposite, of course. To come down with something is actually to catch an illness, something completely different. But we usually use this expression for catching an illness that's not serious. So a cold, the flu, sore throat, things that go away quickly. So example, I think I'm coming down with a cold. Now going back to come up, but this time changing the preposition to against, come up against, is to encounter a difficulty. It is very specific. It is about encountering a difficulty. So, for example, we keep coming up against obstacles. Then, still staying with come, we have the verb come across, which is a very common verb. I hear many of you use it correctly, and it's to come across something, to find something by chance. For example, while I was browsing, I came across an interesting website. I occasionally hear the mistake come across with because of the other verbs with come. It's just come across. There is no with. Come across something. What's important to remember about this verb is that we don't often use this for people. You don't say, I came across John or I came across Harry. The correct expression to use for people is to meet by chance. So keep the exact idea. For example, I met Carl by chance at a party. A verb that you can use for just meeting people by chance is to bump or to run into. But usually we use bump or run into, not usually, or we must only use bump or run into with someone you know. not someone you meet for the first time, obviously. For someone you meet for the first time, you can use the previous expression. I met this person by chance at this event. Right? But if it's someone you know, then say, I bumped into Jason at the bank last week, or I ran into Jason at the bank last week. Right, that takes care of all the verbs with come that you have to be careful with. And then finally with take on and take up. So take on has two meanings. The first one is to accept responsibility, task, work, something like that. Like he has taken on too much work. I don't think he can cope by himself. The second meaning of take on is to hire or employ someone. He needs to take on more staff. Take up means to start doing an activity or a job. It's a bit different from take on. Take on is to accept a job or a responsibility or work. Take up is to start doing something. You can use it for an activity or a job as well. He has recently taken up yoga activity, or he is taking up a new position as a quality manager. Right, that's the end of the lesson. I hope it has helped you to review some important phrasal verbs and also make sure that you don't mix them up with each other. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. For more on this topic, click here. Remember to also check out my complete online course and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and happy studies!